Hello and welcome to Taste of the Future 2020. We are coming to you today from the Wasserstrom Family Foundation Theater in lovely Mitchell Hall here at Columbus State. I am Chef Michele Willoughby. I am the cafe manager of Blend in Mitchell Hall. And with me today...
Hi, my name is Patricia Ritchie. I'm a first-year culinary student here at Columbus State.
So today we're going to prepare for you a small hors d'oeuvre with some of the flavors of fall. We're going to begin by doing some poached pear. We're going to start with the poached pear because it needs time on the stove. So we're going to start today with some Riesling. Prepare our liquid, a little bit of water and lemon. Our spices today, cinnamon stick, anise, whole clove, and cardamom pods, one of my favorites. Some granulated sugar, and then we use a vanilla bean paste. And we're going to bring this up to temperature. I know most of you at home probably know what a boil looks like. A lot of activity in the pan. A simmer is just below that. Well, guess what? Your poach comes in just under a simmer. So we're going to get this heated up. And meanwhile, while we get this going and the sugar to dissolve, Patricia is going to prepare some of our pear today. We are going to be using what you probably know as a melon baller. She has a specific technique here where she is going to go in as deep as she can into the flesh of the fruit and give it kind of a little bit of a twirl. And in this way, we have a very uniform product. We'll put them all in at one time. They'll cook evenly, poach evenly. It's probably going to take a good hour, even for these little guys. It's been about 45 minutes, so we're going to check these guys out. They look good. You can see the color has changed a little bit. From the spices, the vanilla bean. They're quite tender. If you're not sure, you can always use a tip of a knife just to test it. So we'll take these guys out of here. We'll set them aside and let them cool down for when we put the appetizer together. Next, we're going to put together our tart dough. We went with a hazelnut crust, but if you're at home, if you have almond flour, pecan flour, that just means it's a ground nut. You can certainly make any substitution here. So I'm going to start with our all-purpose flour, our confectioner sugar, our salt. We're going to give that a mix. And then our butter. And you want your butter on the cold side. And we're going to begin to mix this. After it comes to a sandy texture, we're going to add about 3 eggs. Your recipe says 4.5 ounces. That's about 3 eggs. The dough will be quite dry. And you'll probably say, you know what, Michele, that recipe doesn't work. But I assure you it does. What we do is we allow the dough to rest a day, and it will continue to what we call hydrate. Okay, here we go. Nice and sandy, and those chunks of butter are gone. We're going to add our eggs and have the dough come together. Again, it's going to look quite dry, but we're going to let it rest overnight. Still looks very dry. We're just going to let it keep mixing. There we go. It has started to come together, and again, we're going to wrap this and allow it to chill in the cooler. I prefer to go overnight for hydration of my doughs, so we'll just set that aside. Now our dough is ready for use. We're going to roll this between, you can use parchment paper, wax paper. I have some plastic wrap here, and the dough is very easy to work with. Also, you're going to note in the recipe, it doesn't have any leavener in it, baking powder, baking soda. So it's going to keep its shape. Kind of how it goes in the oven will be how it comes out of the oven. And I'm going to use these beautiful little barquette molds, these little tart dough molds, And you might think, well, I don't have those. Hey, that's okay. Use what you have. If you want to, we can roll the dough, and you can even use little cookie cutters to cut out a shape, and it will bake whatever shape you have. It'll keep that shape. Our dough is about ready. I'm going to be able to pick up this whole piece of dough, lay it right on top of these molds, and press down. And the pan is going to do all the work for me. I just bring that in. I'm able to press down. Can lift that up. And then all I need to do is do a simple press, and these little guys are ready to go. I'm going to freeze them about 30 minutes, dock them, and then they're going to go into a 350-degree oven for about 15 minutes. The next part of our appetizer today is going to be a Borsen style cheese. It has a lot of bold flavor in it. I'm going to start with some room temperature cream cheese, room temperature butter, and we're going to cream these together. So we'll put these back in the KitchenAid, get these nice and smooth, and then we'll add our flavors. We have this nice and creamy now. We're going to add some fresh garlic, herbs, some Parmesan cheese, some black pepper. And again, if you can make this in advance and let it rest for a day in your refrigerator, the flavors will bloom even further. Easy. It's all done. So I'm going to scrape this, and then we'll get it ready. We'll put it into a piping bag. We can just set this aside. We want to keep it room temperature. If I put this in the cooler, it will harden back up again. So I need to plan in advance. If I need to use it the next day, I'll make sure I pull it out in advance. Our blackberry jam today will begin by putting together our granulated sugar, pectin, and dextrose. So we're going to mix these dry ingredients. Then we're going to add our fruit and our puree. And you can decide for yourself whether you want to keep the seeds in or strain them out. Sometimes I'll strain out half. For this particular appetizer, I did completely strain out the seed. Stay with it. Make sure you work all the way around the perimeter of the pan with your spatula. The fruit is very chunky. I'm going to stay with it though. The fruit's going to begin to break down, and then the pan will change and will get very shiny. Okay, I think we have all of our components ready. Patricia is preparing the garnish that's going to go on top. So we just have a little bit of chive action going here. So she's lining those up. She's going to make some little strands for us. Meanwhile, we have our hazelnut crust, and I'm going to begin with our blackberry jam. It's pretty easy. I can just come through here and pipe a little bit in the bottom of each one. And then I'm going to follow with our Borsen style cheese. And we're going to top these with our poached pear. Okay. Thank you, Patricia.
You're welcome, Chef.
And that is our Taste of the Future hors d'oeuvre. We have a hazelnut crust, blackberry jam, Borsen style cheese, poached pear with chive garnish. Patricia, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you, Chef.
You got it. Enjoy, everyone.